Hi everyone, welcome to the Positive Vibes Feast podcast, where we dive deep into the power of positivity and explore ways to create harmony to our lives. And I'm thrilled to be your host, Isha, your guide on this journey towards more and peaceful and fulfilling journey. In each episode, we bring you insightful conversation with incredible guests who have made it their mission to spread positivity and inspire change. Today, we have a very special guest, Francesc Miralles, who has written very amazing book Ikigai, The Japanese Secret to Long Life. And he is renowned author and even expert on mindfulness and finding a purpose in our lives. Francis' books and teachings have touched lives of millions of people, and today it will touch even your hearts when you're going to listen to what he has to say. And we are truly honored to have him share his wisdom and experience with us. So get ready to relax, open your heart, and discover keys to unlocking happiness. Let's dive into this episode of Positive Vibes, please.
I am very happy to be here with you, Isha, and to have
Mhm.
this conversation in your podcast. For me, it's a pleasure.
For me, it's a very big pleasure that I have you today on board. How are you? First, tell me that.
Well, I've been traveling in the Canary Islands for some
Mhm.
lectures, but now I am back home and very happy to talk about whatever you want.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'm so happy that we can have you today after your such a lovely travel. So, to everyone, Francis, I'm really big fan of your writing, the way you write things, and especially Ikigai, which is world famous. You are a co-author of it, The Japanese Secret to Long Life and a Happy Life, right? And you have written such amazing books, self-help books, inspiring people how to live and how to be true to themselves, which is
Mhm.
so amazing. Like today, we see everybody is running over materialistic things, and here people like you are inspiring everyone to live the life the way it should be lived.
Thank you very much. Actually, these books are also an inspiration for me and for Hector, because when we write this kind of books, we investigate a lot, we talk with a lot of people, we read many papers, articles, books, we travel. And so every book like Ikigai is like an adventure, even for the authors. And we learn a lot of things from them. So I'm very happy to share it with you and with everyone who is following us.
I'm so glad. Can you please tell me that, what inspired you to start writing such books?
Yes, in the beginning there was a matter of chance.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I have studied German literature and German language, and my life was in the direction of becoming a teacher or a professor, something like that. But I started translating books from German to Spanish, from English to Spanish, and the kind of books that I was translating, they were from spirituality, they were new psychology, new age books. And after 2 years working a lot as a translator, one of my publishers gave me an offer to work as a publisher there, as an editor. And so I worked some years as editor in this kind of books. I was always editing books about Orientalism, about self-help, personal growth, all this. So after 4 or 5 years translating and editing and correcting and all this, and I also started writing for newspapers, for magazines, interviewing authors. So life got me there, and I got in love with all these topics. And after 10 years, maybe working with all this, I started writing under my own name my first books.
Oh, that's really amazing. The journey that you have, taken and come here, it says a lot about, it shows in your books and the kind of success your books are seeing. So I'm very sure that, this journey really matters a lot. Okay, can you please tell that according to you personally, what is Ikigai and what is the problem that people are facing to find their Ikigai?
Yes, Ikigai, if there is anybody here who doesn't know the concept,
Mm-hmm.
means purpose of life, reason to live. We have different translations. It can be also the reason why you stand up every morning to live one day more. And the problem that many people have with purpose is not new, it's something that it was always like that. But today it's more difficult because we have so many options, we have so many inputs along the day from the social media, from the TV, from other people, from our own thoughts. We have so many impressions that it's difficult to know what to follow. And so, Ikigai, the purpose in life, means that you must leave many things out. You must take renunciation of many, sacrifice many things, and you choose only one and you follow that direction. And this is difficult, especially for young people, because they are connected to multitasking, they are connected to the social media, they are all day in front of screens.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are all day in front of a screen, you are like hypnotized. And so it's very difficult to take deep decisions when you
Right.
live like that.
I agree with you. And so, with all of this, what is your point of view that how should a person find with all of these stimulations that we have today, and especially the world is so much materialistic? Then, how should a person really find their ikigai, keeping all of these things away?
Yes, actually, what we need first is to know ourselves, because the first step in Ikigai actually is knowing what is your element, what is your value, what do you have as a strength that you can put it in the service of the world. And so, if you know yourself, you are a bit closer to find your purpose. Purpose is when you already know what you have inside you and you make a plan. You say, okay, I love listening to people. I think I am good at that. And I want to devote my whole life to listen to somebody else's problems, to be a therapist. First, it comes the talent. Second, it comes the purpose. And third, maybe it becomes a profession. It becomes something that is the center of your life. But first, you must to have this self-knowledge.
Right. I totally agree. So, one of the person on Instagram, her name is Garima Gupta. She has asked you one question. Her question is that how has travel really impacted you? You have traveled really a lot. So, how has travel changed your life? Second question for her is that which book will you recommend a 25-year-old to read?
5 year old.
25,
Five.
25.
Five. That's good. Yes. I think traveling saved my life because when I didn't have any purpose, when I didn't have any ikigai, and I was 19, 20, 21, 23, the only thing that I had was traveling. Actually, I was having different jobs all the time, getting some money, and then I was paying a train to this place, a train to this other place, visiting one friend, working in cooperation in this place, working with this foundation. So when I didn't know what was my purpose in life, the only thing that was giving some meaning was traveling. Why? Because when you are in a plane, when you are in a ship, when you are into a train, at least you know that you move from this place to this other place. This is a kind of destination. This is a physical destination, but this is the beginning. And also, when you are looking for purpose, what you need is to get out of your room, to get out of your house. Purpose is not coming to the sofa to visit you. You need to explore the world, get to know different people, get to know different projects, different points of view, see new cities, new lands, new possibilities, listening to other theories, working with all kinds of people. Because of that, this is like science. If you visit many countries, many cities, many people, and you are here and there, in the end, something will happen. And for the a 25-year-old person, is quite an adult person. My favorite book is not so easy to read, but it's very inspirational. And I think it's okay for somebody being 25, is The Mouse of John Fowles.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And yes, it's truly inspirational, how you have told and, given young people a path that how important travel is to get out of your house and explore the different aspects of life and then find your purpose.
Yes.
In, yeah. In between all of this, I want to know your point of view on spirituality.
This is interesting that you asked me for that. 5 days ago, I was in Hong Kong. I was visiting a friend of mine who has become suddenly very religious. She's a woman, uh, very intelligent and very successful professionally, and she had very often magic thought. But when I visited her in Hong Kong, she told me that Jesus was talking to her directly, telling her what to do, what not to do, with changes. For me, it was, I don't believe in this kind of spirituality because I think if God exists, God will be something very big and very abstract, and is not like a friend that comes to my house to tell me if I must choose this job. I think God has more important things to do than that. And also, Jesus, I think he was a very important philosopher. He had very original ideas in his time. He was talking about love, he was talking about forgiveness, he was talking about loving each other, but I don't believe in resurrection. I don't believe in that. So I think that when Jesus died, the message stayed there and the message comes to us. But I cannot believe that Jesus is coming to me to tell me do this, do that, because it has no sense for me. So my idea of spirituality is, for me, spirituality is everything that is beyond ourselves, the mysteries of life. When started the universe, the Big Bang, but what was before the Big Bang? We don't know. Who created the Big Bang? We don't know. What will happen after that? We don't know. Is there a divine plan? What happens with the things that we cannot control rationally? When we have a dream, tell us something important. When we have intuition, when we have the sixth sense. For me, spirituality is all that, and spirituality is goodness. So when somebody makes something for somebody who doesn't know, this is a spiritual fact. Going to church or to the temple doesn't mean necessarily that you are spiritual. It means that you are ritualistic, but not necessarily spiritual.
Right, very right. Okay, so I want to know, it is really nice aspect that if people don't believe in God, one thing they should believe in is doing good.
Yes, uh, and think in English, God and good, it has one O of difference only. Actually, if we believe that God is goodness, God is good deeds, when you are doing these good deeds, you are acting like God. And you can believe in God or you cannot believe. But if you are helping somebody who is in need, helping somebody who is suffering, this is a divine fact, a divine thing that you do. And so for me, spirituality is breaking the ego, going beyond yourself, beyond your needs, and trying to deliver something good in the universe.
Right, very right. This is amazing. I really want to know, where are you personally when it comes to self growth and mindfulness and happiness? How do you practice all of it and make sure that you are on that path?
Yes, I am very bad meditator. I don't like meditation for me. I like the discipline. I think this is something that comes from India. It has maybe 5,000 years of experience with many gurus and many schools, but personally, it doesn't work with me because when I have practiced meditation, this is not my how to tell you. People who meditate, they have a big interest in knowing themselves, and they want to know their minds, they want to know what happens with their emotions, they want to experience the void, they want to feel many things. And in my case, I don't find myself so interesting. I am very curious about other people's conscience. And so I prefer to talk with somebody, to read a book, to listen to somebody else's music, than exploring my mind that is boring for me. So my way, I would say, my way to self-growth is more interacting with different people. Yesterday, I was in a lecture with a man who was 3 days lost in the middle of the sea, about to die. And he explained his story in a book, and there is a movie about him. And I was talking with him like 2 hours in front of a dinner, knowing how did he feel when he saw that the death was so close. What did he think in despair? In which people was he thinking? And for me, self-growth is understanding people that are totally different from you, that they have totally different experiences, that they have different spiritual experiences, and every person that you meet in your life that has this kind of messages makes you bigger. It happens through books also. If you read a book that is very interesting, and maybe the author is dead, but there is a new point of view about something that you see in another way, you are growing also with that.
Right, very right. It's really nice aspect that you love to know other people, their mindset, how do they work, and it really shows in your work also. That's why you are able to, see people's psychology so well and tap into it.
Yes, actually, my hobby number one is putting questions to people. So I love asking things. So, for instance, if I get to know a fisher, somebody who works in sailing, I don't know, I will ask as many things as possible to understand how is this life, what is his motivation, what happens in the end of the day, how did he started to live in this way. So I think my drive in life is curiosity, and curiosity makes me read books, explore countries, talk with people, and from all that, in the end, I can write my own things. But I prefer listening than talking, and I prefer reading than writing.
Oh, that's a new thing that you prefer reading more than writing.
It's easier, it's more comfortable. When I read something good, I sit like that, like I am now. I am enjoying somebody else's work, and it's a big pleasure for me. But when I am writing, it's a job. It's something that is intellectual, that is spiritual, but it's a job. I must put all my energy. I cannot be half slept with that. But when I am reading, I can be reading, I don't know, uh, in a very comfortable place and sleep a little bit, and then I read a little more. So I always prefer to be the receiver than to give the messages. But for some kind of karmic compensation, life has put me in a kind of existence in which I must talk every day. My natural drive is to ask and to listen and to read.
Okay. That's really amazing. That's why you're able to give so well and so nicely to the people, and they are all ears to whatever you have to say or write.
Yes, actually, I think my work as a writer, I am not a spiritual master. That I am not somebody who says, you must live like that, love is this, happiness is that. I am not that kind of author. What I do is I discover new things like Ikigai, like that man who was almost dying in the middle of the ocean. I am discovering new theories, new people, new countries, new concepts. And my mission in life is explain it in a way that everybody can understand it and that everybody can enjoy it, so that is entertaining, that is nice, that is not rigid. So from a religious point of view, to write for everybody, I think that is my mission in life.
The fact that you travel to Japan every year, there's something that you
Yes.
love about that country. So can you please tell us what is that?
Actually, I've traveled to Japan 11, 12, or 13 times, many times, once a year or twice a year, and sometimes we go for working. We went there with National Geographic. We have I have written books there. I have written articles, many things. But actually, I would never live in Japan. My soul is very far from that. I love. It happens to me like Germany. I studied German culture in university, and I love the German authors, German cinema, but I would never live in Germany. The same with Japan. I like very much traditional arts, haiku, shodo, ikebana. I like the tea ceremony. I like many things from the Japanese, but I don't like the way they live in the cities, at least, because it's a life totally oriented to career, to profession, with very little free time, with a lot of repression of feelings, and with a lot of suffering. But it's a very rich culture, and it's a kind of culture that takes from many other places in Asia, from China, from India, and they take it for them and give it back to society in a very sophisticated way. And I am very interested in this process that the Japanese do of taking Buddhism and it becomes Zen, and they take the tea culture from China and it becomes Chanoyu. I like their way of making beautiful things.
Yeah, that's really nice. And the fact that in today's time there is someone who is, following what they love and not just running after the materialism and, just creating things. So, when we talk about this, how will you tell everybody who is hearing us out that to follow their heart and not their brain? Like to sometimes follow their heart also. It's not always about materialism and gaining only.
I think following your heart is a big principle in life. When you follow your heart, you follow your inner intuition, your sixth sense. So somebody, you get introduced a person, and somebody inside you tells you that this is not a right person for you to be a friend or to be a workmate or something. If you don't follow your heart and you evaluate this person with a rational point of view, in the end you will discover that your heart was right in that. So I think people very connected with their inner truth, artists, writers, spiritual masters, uh, entrepreneurs who have new ideas, any person who is doing something important in this life, they are very connected with their heart, because this is the main wisdom. The other wisdom we can organize it with artificial intelligence. So I can come to the chatbot GPT and say, please tell me all the meditation schools that there are in Thailand, and you get that. So this is something that a machine can do. But this mysterious feeling that gives you information about a place, about a person, about life, artificial intelligence cannot do it. and that's the human thing. And I am interested in what is human.
Right. There is a study that I was just seeing, that recent study when we talk about sixth sense. So, which has just found out that there were two kinds of people which were divided. One which were given sad and happy moments, and one which was given practical mathematics, and they were made to study that. So when the research was done on these two groups, it was seen that the people who were given happy, sad, like their emotions had to come out, they saw that before they could react, they could even see those things, their heart actually felt, like the heart waves felt that before it. Yeah, it's a scientific study which is done recently. So that's how sixth sense is proved to be more right, like even before they could see it.
That's very interesting. I didn't know this study, but I believe that. I think mm, that Hemingway was very right with his theory of iceberg. He said that when you write a book, you only show to the reader the 10% of what you know. So you imagine a story, you imagine the characters, the places, the situations, the conflicts, and you know everything. But in the pages, you only express 10% of what you know, and the rest is underwater. So the reader they can have some intuition of what is happening there. And the same happens with the wisdom of life. There are certain things that we know, but there is so much unconscious movements inside ourselves that this is the real power of a person. If we have the possibility of making what unconscious is, to making it conscious and explore inside ourselves.
I agree. I totally agree. Like, there's so much to us which needs to be explored more.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, I really want to ask you, it will be really intriguing for me if you can share with viewers how you left your job and came to writing.
Yes, actually, mm, there are decisions in life that are difficult because you feel that you come in front of a void of nothing. I was having a very good salary as a editor. I had a very stable job, but I was unhappy there because I didn't like the place. I didn't like the way the people were relating each other. It was a place full of negativity, full uh, of bad words, of bad looks. There was a lack of humanity there, and so every day that I spent in that office made me more sad and more disconnected with the good things of life. So in the end, I decided to resign from my job, and I did what so many Westerners have done before: go to India and try to find some inspiration. So it was my first trip to India. I was like 2 months there, and I was traveling very cheaply in the south, sleeping in very small places, talking to gurus, to sadhus, with the people, taking buses, taking trains. And there was a new life for me after that, not because I found any master or anything similar, but because I got contact with life again. And for me, India is the whole world into a country, and you find all kind of religions, all kind of people, colonial buildings, old buildings, new buildings. So it was for me like reconnecting with the world and with creativity. And after that, I was starting a new life as a freelance, and it was very difficult economically in the beginning. I had many financial problems, but in the end, it was a good decision.
I'm sure, like, I think that from starting from scratch also makes you learn that now you have, earned everything, but you know the true value of being in peace.
Yes, actually, to be in peace with yourself is the most important thing that you can get. So if you are going to work in a place that you don't like, with an activity that you don't have any identification with that, and you feel that you are throwing your life to the rubbish, there is no peace in yourself. What you say and what you do, they are in harmony. So you have peace of mind, you have serenity, and you can have a good life. If your heart is your one place and your body is in another place and your mind is looking at the future and not at the present, you will be always unhappy.
So true, so true. It is one of the best learnings that you can give to people. I really want to know that what were the difficulties that you faced while you started and you started freelancing, then you started writing to be, here where you are right now. What all difficulties you had to face
A
and
lot
how
of
you
difficulties.
faced them.
I think everything you start is difficult. So,
Mm-hmm.
Isha, if you decide to change your life and become an actress, it will be difficult in the beginning. If you are good at that, and if it's your destiny to do that, in the end it will be good. Or if you want to be a therapist and you are not, and you need to have an education and to have clients and to find your space. For me, it was also very difficult because coming back from India, I wanted to be a writer. I published a couple of books, one for children, one for youngsters, and I tried to write for adults, but the publishers didn't want to publish my books. So I wrote a book called Barcelona Blues that was a very spiritual novel, very funny also, and maybe 15 publishers read that and they didn't like it at all. So I was trying to find my way in this publishing world that was very difficult because I came from another place. And so what I did was something that not many young people will do nowadays. I thought, I think that I have a very good nose, that we say in Spain, a good intuition to know what is a bestseller. Because while I was in working as a publisher, as an editor, I discovered many books, I discovered authors, and I felt that I had like a inner radar for that. And the literary agency that was trying to sell my books, they couldn't do it because uh, the publishers didn't know me, they didn't rely on me, and I always got no, 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 no. And so, what was my strategy? I said, I want to show to the world that I understand which books are necessary to be written. And so I offered my services to this literary agency for free. I said, I know that you are receiving many originals, many manuscripts every week. By that time, it was not in PDF, it was in paper, so with all this enquadernation. Maybe in the end of the week, they had received 300 books from random authors. And I offered myself to work, to cooperate for free with this agency, looking at these books that were at the table, take 3 or 4 home and preparing a little report to see if there was something that is possible to send it to the publishers. And so I did 3, 4, 5 weeks, and I think the beginning, I think it was the fourth week, I saw a novel about the building of a cathedral in Barcelona in the Middle Ages, and it was not very well written, but there was some charm in that because it was the story of a child who arrives in Barcelona. He wants to be free and have like a title that the people in Barcelona had in that time, that they were free of movement, and he starts to build Santa Maria del Mar together with other workers. That is, it was a cathedral built by very high people. When I read that, this novel had been rejected by 10 publishers. I wrote a report and I said, if the editors work a little bit in the style, if we change the title, but with these same stories, it can be, I don't know in the name of English of that, like the novel of Ken Follett, The Pillars of the Earth. The literary agent sent my report to Penguin Random House. They were interested when they read this report. They wanted to look at the book. They bought it by 10,000 euros to the author. That was very surprised. And this book sold 8 million copies only in Spain. And it was translated
Wow.
into 40 languages. And I got, I think, $25 for that. I get a little payment because I had written that thing. But the agent earned millions, the author earned millions, and it was like I gave that to the universe for free. But what happened? That the publisher knew that I was the person who had discovered that. So when Francesc Miralles wrote his next book and I sent it to the publishers, all of them said, look at that very well because it's from the person who discovered the Cathedral of the Sea. And so what can teach us these things? That sometimes you don't need to think of the result. What you need is to show your talent to the world. So if you think you are good at something, acting, playing music, whatever, go to play to the subway of Mumbai. I don't know. Go everywhere so that the world knows that you exist. And if something has to happen, the universe will do the rest.
Right. Very true. The fact, this story is so inspiring. The first step, you need to take the first step and start from somewhere.
Yes, and to have confidence that things will go well in the end, but you must get started. You cannot expect, you cannot wait for mentors to come, for new circumstances, for new times. There are people who live in conditional tense. They say, I will write my book when my kids are older. I will write my book when I have less work in the office. I will write my book when I feel better because I. So if you put conditions to your dream, the dream will be always procrastinated. It's impossible that you can do that. If you really have the wish of accomplishing something, you must do it in the middle of the storm. If not, it means that you don't desire it as much as you think.
So true. This is lovely. And you said that you have a nose to sense that, what will work and what will not.
I have
That it
always
is.
had it from the beginning. Actually, it's something irrational. When I read the first page of a book, if I feel like trembling in my back, I know that something is going to happen with this book. It's like
That's
a inner compass that I have.
That's really nice. But I really want to tell you something that you have in India. They say that, some people who do good this intuition thing, who's is strong, they have a noor, they have a glow on their face. It's called noor. And you actually have that glow on your face.
Oh, maybe, yes. Actually, I am a very enthusiastic person. And when I discover a book, what I do is giving it as a present to dozens of people. Actually, for instance, if I discover a new author, a new essay, a new novel, if I don't want to go to the post, I buy it through Amazon. And Amazon informs you of how many times you have bought something. And sometimes I get surprised because I am sending that novel to another friend, and Amazon says, you have bought this book 26 times. And then I realize how much I spread these discoveries.
No, that's amazing. People like you are gem to this universe, and we really want more people like you. That's why God has given you this job. God, universe, whatever you say, to spread such positivity and to spread this word of being kind. Follow your heart, and you will reach wherever you want to.
Mhm. Thank you very much, Isha.
That's really amazing. And, before we close this amazing podcast, which I really don't want to, but I know that you have a limited time, I really want to know that, personally, what are you working on right now in life and what is your goal?
Yes, now I am working in articles for newspapers and magazines because this is a moment in the year that we must deliver everything for the beginning of the year. I am with that. I am giving lectures, and with the beginning of the year 2024, I will write something that really makes me vibrate a lot. That is, the English speaking people don't know, but during the pandemic, I wrote the first book of my biography. It's called Wolves Change the River. That's called like that. And it comes from childhood to 30 years old. And many, many stories, magical stories in there. And what I want to write in January, February, March, April is the second book of my biography. And that's what I will do. And I have also, of course, other things to write. I write for children. I have always different projects.
That's really amazing. And, thank you so much for coming on this podcast. You are really gem of a person, and please continuing doing the amazing work that you're doing. Do you have any last lines for all your readers and all the listeners? Any message that you want to share with everyone?
The message I want to give them is don't be afraid because anything can happen. So sometimes we are trying to control the future, no? To say to have like predictions, to have some kind of safety of what will happen. And it is impossible. Life is uncertainty. Life is chaos. So what you must do is follow your passions, what you feel that you are born to do, and let the universe do the rest.
Thank you so much. This podcast has personally inspired me a lot. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.